The Detroit Lions are 14-2. 14-2.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, happy Monday, and it's a Victory Monday into Victory Tuesday. Matt Derry with you. Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Lions go into San Francisco on Monday Night Football in front of a national TV audience, and they knock off the Niners tonight 40-34. Got a little late night pod for you today. We appreciate all of our everydayers, and shout out to all of you that watch and listen to the podcast daily right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Happy New Year coming up. Whew, let's catch our breath after that one tonight, huh? Lions get it done. A little bit scary early. The defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. The defensive line was abysmal tonight, getting pushed around by the Niners' third string entire offensive line, basically. And yet, Ben Johnson and this offense found a way. And once again, the Lions win. It's a Monday, December 30th, and a Tuesday, December 31st. Thanks for checking us out wherever you get your podcasts, everybody. Welcome in. A little post-game edition of Locked On Lions. Detroit 40, San Francisco 34. We got to talk about the offense and all the things that were done right. We got to talk about Dan Campbell's decision-making to play his regulars, to go for the win tonight, to play a football game and keep the identity when everybody on the pregame shows, the Scott Van Pelts and the Jason Kelce's, Marcus Spears, Ryan Clark, that Monday Night Countdown show is very good. Got a chance to watch all of it tonight. They were all saying they were picking San Francisco because they thought, why on earth would the Lions play all of their regulars tonight? Because this game has no meaning. The Lions would have lost tonight. It wouldn't have mattered in the grand scheme of things for next week, because next week is winner takes home the NFC North. Loser has 14 wins and has to be the 5 seed and likely goes to Tampa Bay in round one and doesn't get a bye. And it would have been that way regardless of tonight's outcome, win or lose for the Lions. So a lot of people were like, wait a minute, the Lions should rest Jared Goff. They should deactivate Jahmyr Gibbs. They should rest Sewell and just, walk out of there with no injuries. But Dan Campbell made it a point. And he made it a point during the summer. He made it a point during training camp. He made it a point during the season. He showed his team videotape of losing in San Francisco last year a bevy of times, numerous times. I talked to one person in the organization a couple weeks ago that said Dan Campbell is obsessed with going back to San Francisco and beating them. And so once Minnesota won yesterday, I understand. You might have to change the mindset a little bit. You might have to go, well, if the game really means nothing, what if because few of our guys get injured in a meaningless game? What will that mean for the Minnesota game? But Dan Campbell doesn't play what ifs. Dan Campbell doesn't believe in, things that could happen in he just said, we are a football team that each and every week, our identity is, whether the game has a lot of meaning, a little meaning, whatever, we're trying to win. And it's refreshing. It's refreshing. Were there some times tonight when I was holding my breath when Sam Laporta took a helmet to the head and I'm like, oh God, he's going to be out next week. Or Jahmyr Gibbs took a shot, or, Jared Goff running for his life on one or two plays. You're like, oh no, just get down. Don't get hurt. Yet the Lions in a football game where the defense totally no-showed, gave up 475 yards of total offense to Brock Purdy and Joshua Dobbs. The Lions got out of there unscathed from an injury standpoint, and they win 40-34 as once again, Ben Johnson, this guy's a magician. The plays the Lions were running, the constant motion. Did anybody see the fake reverse to Penei Sewell play? Where they threw a screen, I believe, to Craig Reynolds. Jamison Williams attempting a pass, and he didn't actually get it off. The hook and ladder, the reverse to Williams as he was in motion for the touchdown run. The creativity is there each and every week. You see the rhythm. You see the pre-snap motion. All the things that you're seeing with this offense, it's historic. The Lions have close to 390 first downs this season, which is a record that they broke last year. And now they've broken it again this year. And I get it. And we talked about it on the pod last week. The Chicago Bears are going to want to have Ben Johnson. But what if the Cincinnati Bengals don't make the playoffs and Zach Taylor gets fired? You don't think Ben Johnson wouldn't want to coach Joe Burrow? What about a package deal in Indianapolis if the Colts, which is what they should do, clean house, get rid of Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen, who are running a damn country club there, and they go with Ray Agnew, the Lions assistant GM, as general manager, and Ben Johnson as head coach? It's all on the table. It's all on the table. But for right now, he's ours, and he's coaching up this offense in historical fashion. I mean, that San Francisco defense is banged up. I know Greenlaw's out and other guys are out and all of that, but Nick Bosa was out there. Fred Warner was out there. Mafanga was out there. And the Lions put up 40 on them, and they just kept wearing them down and just kept third downing them to death, fourth downing them to death. And they were unstoppable. And that offensive line, when they want to, just absolutely pounds at people. And, you know, the notion of, well, Jahmyr Gibbs is more of the outside guy. David Montgomery is the inside guy. Jahmyr Gibbs tonight ran the football with serious vengeance and, 18 carries, 117 yards, a long of 30 with a touchdown, the off the right edge, and an average of 6.5 yards a carry. Craig Reynolds, come on, Craig, 7 carries, 31 yards. Jamar Jefferson got some touches. Lions ran for $152 tonight, held the Niners to 75 yards rushing. We'll talk about the defense in a second, but the offense was just awesome tonight. Jamison Williams was fantastic tonight. A little bit of speed with the reverse and the hook and ladder play. But then when they needed big third down plays, he made some really good catches, ran some great routes. St. Brown doing what he does. Laporta. There's so many ways the Lions can beat you. And what was interesting tonight on the Monday Night Football broadcast on ESPN with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, they said Dan Campbell told them they are not ruling David Montgomery out and that he's still on the active roster. They're not putting him on IR, and they're hoping to get him back maybe even as early as this week, despite just a couple of weeks ago spraining his MCL. They feel like there's a chance David Montgomery can come back, which would be huge for this offense. But doesn't matter. Next man up. Tonight, Allen Robinson made a play. Tim Patrick caught the 2-point conversion and just blocks down the field as good as any receiver in the league. Who can stop this offense? Now, of course, Week 18, Sunday Night Football, 8:20, Tirico and Collinsworth, NBC in the building for another huge game to decide the division. Minnesota is playing really well. Can you believe there's going to be a 14-3 team? 14-3 team that is going to be the 5 seed in the NFC, and is going to have to go on the road probably twice, maybe even 3 times in the postseason. It's insane. And I know that we could make an argument about it. We'll talk about it next week, but you got to give credit to Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings for what they're doing right now. But I still think the Lions can beat them. The game's at Ford Field. We know the Lions have already beaten Minnesota once this year. We saw it on the Jake Bates field goal to win at 31-29 a few weeks ago. But it's going to be a great game. Could be first to 50 wins that game with the way these two offenses are playing and the way that Darnold and Minnesota right now is clicking is unbelievable. They've got great culture there too. You didn't see the video from yesterday when Darnold got done with his interview on the field, ran into the locker room, and the entire Vikings team was waiting for him, showering him with water and stuff and lifting him up on their shoulders. It's a great story. But Minnesota's got to come to Ford Field, and you fans are going to be loud. That place is going to be jumping, and it's exciting. This is, would I rather see the Lions have wrapped up the division by now and can rest their starters? Sure, but this is kind of cool. We've never seen 2 14-win teams ever play for the chance for the top seed in the NFC ever before. And the last time the last week of the season came down to a top seed in the NFC game in the regular season was the 93 season, January of 94, Cowboys at the Giants. That was the Emmitt Smith injured shoulder game where Dallas beat New York, got the 1 seed. And by the way, Dallas went on to win the Super Bowl. Hopefully that's the case here with the Lions. Matt Derry with you. It is Locked On Lions. We got to get into the defense. I mean, what was that in the first half tonight? My God. Just embarrassing, to be quite honest with you. And I get it. The game meant nothing, and guys are injured, and we could talk all about that. But that performance by the defensive unit tonight was cheeks. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And has to be corrected, and quickly. Lions win 40-34. A little post-game edition of Locked On Lions. And Locked On Lions tonight is brought to you by our friends at Rocket Money. Did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about or that you were paying for twice? That definitely happened to me. I had a few subscriptions that I didn't even realize I was still paying for. And what Rocket Money does is they make it so easy to track them all down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users, so has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. All right, here's what you got to do. Cancel all your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with our friends at Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. So if you've noticed, I've got a bit of a different background here. I'm on vacation, and my wife is laying here in the room next to me as I record here. And she did give me this reminder. I've got to give a shout out. I met some Lions fans down here in the beautiful South, and I've got to shout them out. I promised them that I would, and I'm going to do that. They are incredible people. The great Kelly and Rich Basher. Both in 00 Lions jerseys, walking around today when I saw them, and their dog Finnegan, the Bashers of Berkeley, Michigan. Shout out to you guys. They love their Lions, season ticket holders, and great people. So the Basher family loves the Lions, and they'll be at the game Sunday night, 8 o'clock or 8:20 for Lions and Vikings. All right, Detroit wins tonight, 40-34. We're wrapping this one up here on a Monday night. Great to always see the Lions on Monday Night Football. How about Detroit finishes the regular season 8-0 on the road? Perfect road record. And yours truly, this dummy, at the start of the year said 10-7. I thought the Lions would be better this year, but I didn't think they'd have as good of a regular season record. Shows you what I know. And I had them losing all these road games. I'm like, it's gonna be tough to win at Green Bay, tough to win at Dallas, blah, blah, blah. I think even the start of the year, I thought they'd lose in Indy, which was stupid. But regardless, they won every road game they played. And I get it. All right. Some people are going to say, well, if the Lions finish with the 5 seed and lose to Minnesota, it's not the end of the world. They'll just go to Tampa and win or whatever. Yes, they can. They can beat Tampa and Tampa. They can win in Philly. They can win anywhere they can play. But they want the 1 seed. They want to be at home, and they want a first-round bye. Troy Aikman brought it up tonight on the ESPN broadcast time and time again. This team is tired. They're exhausted. They haven't had a bye since week 5. And it would be nice if they could get some rest. And we're going to talk a lot this week. Certainly, we'll have Luke Braun on Thursday on the crossover about this matchup with the Vikings because Minnesota's playing great. As far as tonight goes, and what we saw against San Francisco, completely unacceptable performance from the defense. Outside of Kirby Joseph and Amik Robertson, Jack Campbell was okay. I'll be interested in seeing what the PFF grades are tomorrow. But the front four and the linebackers tonight were terrible, terrible. And from the minute the game started and San Francisco had the football, they were just doing whatever they wanted offensively. Brock Purdy had all day to throw. Did Zadarius Smith, was he there tonight? Other than him shouting MF'er into the camera before the game started, was Zadarius Smith even on the field tonight? I'm looking at the defensive stats, and I see no tackles, one quarterback hit. Terrible. Josh Paschal, one tackle. Levi Onwuzurike, one tackle. One quarterback hit. Unacceptable tonight. DJ Reader, like, I thought this was an incredible pickup. I'm happy he's there. I thought he and Liam McNeil were going to be just this wrecking crew up front. And yet they were getting gashed by the fourth string left tackle for the 49ers tonight. They were rotating the left tackles because they don't even know who to put in there because Trent Williams is out. His backup is out. And they started the game at the broadcast tonight, and they started the game, the Niners had the ball, and Joe Buck's like, yeah, we're trying to see who's playing left tackle and left guard because the announcers didn't even know. And yet that group was completely pushing the Lions around in the first half. Aaron Glenn made some adjustments in the second half. You saw more blitzes. They forced 2 turnovers, 2 huge interceptions by Kirby Joseph. Put that man in your defensive player of the year talk, please. He has 9 interceptions to lead all of the NFL. Kirby Joseph is a Pro Bowler, an All-Pro, and a stud. That second pick where he read Purdy and stepped in front of Pearsall was a great play. But I'm sorry, we shouldn't be sitting here tonight talking about Brock Purdy, who's fine, throw for 377 yards, passer rating of 116. Ricky Pearsall had 141 yards receiving. George Kittle had 112 yards receiving. Jennings caught 7 balls for 70 yards. Garendo was getting behind Jalen Reeves-Maybin out of the backfield for a 40-yard catch. No pressure. I think Purdy was sacked twice tonight, I think. Yeah, 2 sacks tonight, one by Brian Branch on a blitz, and the other one by Miles Adams, which was set up by a Jalen Reeves-Maybin blitz. But the front four is not getting it done. Darius Smith has been a disappointment. And I know he's 32 and everything else, but come on, man. I need to see better from that D-line. When you tell me coming into this game, you've got a banged up right tackle that's still going to play and 3 new starters on an offensive line that on a 6-win football team in the Niners who's playing out the string, and they're just out there. Purdy's firing darts. Kittle's wide open. Running backs are gaining 3-4 yards a pop, 5 yards a pop. They got to fix it. And getting Alex Anzalone back is going to be massive. Gaines Media Zone, Alex Anzalone. Need him back. Because the other linebackers are playing out there. Ben Neiman, God bless him, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, Ezekiel Turner. It's a major drop-off. It just is. You know, we've talked about the attrition. We've talked about the 18 guys on the IR, and the Niners had a lot of injuries all season too. But, man, that first half tonight was grotesque in terms of the defense. The missed tackles, the poor angles, the blown assignments. It should not have been a 21-13 game at the half for the 49ers. Now, again, it's Monday Night Football. They're a professional franchise. They're well run. Kyle Shanahan put on a little bit of a show, similar to Ben Johnson. There was some creative calls with San Francisco, but the Lions couldn't get off the field. And a buddy of mine, our crack research staff, was hitting me up going, Lions just need to get 3 stops in the second half. Well, one they did on a Jake Moody missed field goal. By the way, that poor kid. Oh, my God. Remember Money Moody from Michigan? He's money for Michigan. Tonight he was money for the Lions. In the Jake off tonight, the Lions won because Jake Bates hit 57-yarder and Jake Moody missed 2 field goals and an extra point. But the Lions got the 3 stops they needed in the second half tonight. One was the Moody missed a field goal, and the other one was, and the other two were the Kirby Joseph interceptions. Otherwise, I don't believe the 49ers punted tonight. No, there was not a single punt in this football game tonight. Jack Fox, you want to talk about Dan Campbell resting people? Hey, he rested Jack Fox. He didn't have to punt. But the Lions did not force a single punt tonight. Come on. Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson this week. Come on, guys. I know there's guys injured. We've talked about it, but man, last couple of weeks, seen way too many open receivers, way too much time to throw for the quarterback. We need some guys. Guys need to step up in the next few weeks. Let's start with Sunday against the Vikings because that's a very good offense, and Darnold is having a lot of fun. All right, let's hand out some game balls, wrap this up. Lions win, 8-0 record on the road. They are 14-2 with one game to go. Can you believe this? Seriously, Lion fans have been waiting for this forever. Franchise record, 14th win. They could finish the season with 15 wins in the regular season if they win Sunday night. That is just phenomenal. We'll hand out some game balls coming up next. All right, end of the program. You know what we love to do? We love to hand out some game balls and highlight some of the individual performances from tonight's win. Lions take it 40-34 over the Niners tonight. Mentioned Jared Goff, 3 touchdown passes. Jahmyr Gibbs, a touchdown run. Also caught 4 balls for 46 yards. I'm handing out one game ball on defense. That's a pretty easy one. But this football team continues to just impress. Crowd was going nuts. You heard the Jared Goff chants back in his hometown of San Francisco, which was very, very cool. Of course, played his college ball at Cal. And Jared Goff gets a game ball. He has to. This was his 7th, I believe, passer rating game over 130. 132.4 tonight for Goff. 26 out of 34, 303 yards, 3 touchdown passes, 1 to J-Mo, 1 to Laporta, and 1 to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jared Goff doesn't make the big mistake anymore. Jared Goff sits in that pocket and just makes the big throws. He probably had one. He wished he had thrown a little bit better on that Laporta 4th down that was behind him, or else he would have had 4 touchdown passes tonight. And when Dan Campbell gambled on that 4th down, didn't take the points on that 4th and 3, I was all for it because the Lions couldn't stop San Francisco. And if Goff throws that ball a little earlier, it looks like the right call. But Goff gets a game ball from me. Phenomenal job tonight. Jahmyr Gibbs, got to get a game ball tonight. Over 150 total yards, 117 on the ground, 46 through the air. Guy's a workhorse and is tough and has got the speed. And, man, when Jahmyr Gibbs gets going, look out. That 30-yard touchdown run tonight kind of sealed this game in the Lions' 40-34 win. I'm giving a game ball to Jameson Williams. I just love the way he played tonight, whether it was on the rushing side, the touchdown run with the motion. He's running great routes right now. He's making the plays. They targeted him 8 times, 5 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. Jameson Williams getting it done in a big way tonight for Detroit. So you love to see that. And what can you say about Kirby Joseph? I mentioned it before. 2 interceptions tonight, 6 tackles, 5 solo. And the second interception was just classic Kirby Joseph center field, reading the eyes of the quarterback, stepping in front, and making a huge play. You love what you saw from Kirby Joseph tonight. I mentioned before about Jake Bates not getting a game ball, but a 57-yard field goal. They'll take that. Probably, by the way, Jake Bates had 2 extra points missed tonight, one on a block and the other one wide left. I know the broadcast crew had a lot of fun with Jake Bates using a softball on his side to get rid of a cramp and was kind of laying on the ground. And whatever, the sexual innuendos that were flying on social media. But regardless, not maybe Jake Bates' best night with the missed extra point and the blocked extra point. But the 57-yard field goal was huge in this game. And those are the game balls I'm handing out. And I'm giving a game ball to Dan Campbell. And I'll tell you why. There'll be a lot of naysayers, and you'll probably watch some of those national talking head shows tomorrow that will say, man, was that dumb of Dan Campbell? What was he doing? He's lucky nobody got hurt. The game meant nothing. Tonight's game was fun. The Lions are playing on Monday Night Football, and Dan Campbell set an agenda from the summer to now that one of the games he really wanted to win was this one, San Francisco. Go into the building that you led 24-7 at the half last year in the NFC Championship game. Go in there and win. And he talked about it all year. And he wasn't going to change his mind regardless of the meaning of the game. He was playing to win. Yes, it was a little bit risky with injuries and everything else that could have happened. But I'm giving Dan Campbell a game ball for his consistency, for the fact that he coaches with an identity, right? And it's winning at all costs, no matter if the game has zero meaning, if the game has 100% meaning. And I respect that about him. And it's why I think one day there will be a statue outside of Ford Field of this man. I truly believe it. By the way, did you see on the NBC broadcast tonight, they showed the booth with Brad Holmes, Chris Spielman, and the legendary 222 Rodwood Drive. Yes, the announcers were talking about Sheila Ford Hamp, and they were talking about Chris Spielman, and they're like, oh, there's Brad Holmes. And poor Rod's just sitting there. They didn't get, Troy and Joe didn't give Rod Wood any love. No love for 222. Come on now. That's our team prez. But that was kind of cool tonight. Those guys and girls with Sheila got some dap on TV. All right, we're back again tomorrow with another Locked On Lions. We'll have the PFF grades. We'll recap more of this one and preview Minnesota as the Lions win tonight, 40-34 in San Francisco, sweeping the road season, 8-0 on the road for this football team. Not too shabby, huh? What a performance tonight from the Lions and their offense. And we'll have some of Dan Campbell's comments as well tomorrow right here on a Locked On Lions. Matt Derry with you on this Monday night edition. Have a great rest of the night, everybody. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.